Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the American Advertising Federation's Advertising Hall of Achievement. Now, please welcome the Senior Director of Advertising and Media Services for the Kellogg Company, the AAF Chairman of the Board, Andy Young.
Good morning, technically, still. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank John Osborne and the folks at BBDO for creating that wonderful video montage. Thank you very much, John. And if you had to have a party, isn't this the greatest venue in all of New York City to have a party in? I would like to thank the staff at AAF and L&M Productions for pulling this whole thing off. There's a prompter and glasses and scripts and everything else here. And I'm going to do this kind of off the cuff. As you're about to see this afternoon, it's now this afternoon, we're going to cover a very broad range of individuals who have done incredible, incredible things over the course of their career. And about the only thing they do have in common is results, because these individuals this afternoon who are receiving the Hall of Achievement Awards, and this is the 14th year that the American Advertising Federation is doing the Hall of Achievement Awards, they have all produced fantastic results. Each of our inductees has achieved remarkable results in a very, very short period of time. Each one produces work that responds to their clients' needs, and each of those needs is getting more and more increasingly complex in the marketplace that we all compete in each and every single day. I think everyone in this room knows what it's like to compete in order to win business. Think back, each and every one of you, think back to the most challenging competition you ever faced. And I don't mean scourging for that last piece of pizza at 10:30 at night, but think down to all of the accomplishments that each and every one of you have done over the course of your career, and then think to doing that at a very, very, very early age. How good that must feel to be here today as these 7 recipients take home a Hall of Achievement Award, and also to the 13 years of previous Hall of Achievement Award winners, many of whom are in the room today, who have also received this great recognition. From a truly extraordinary group of skilled and spirited individuals, the judges selected 7 who have achieved not only for themselves, but who have inspired others to achieve through mentoring, through involvement with their community, and through every aspect of their lives. These people are contributors, and they produce, as I said, strong, strong results. As we honor our inductees today, we are also pleased to announce the release of the 4th annual AAF survey of industry leaders on advertising trends. It reflects industry attitudes on a variety of key issues, from current ad techniques to retention of talent. It also reflects the principles of the American Advertising Federation and the Hall of Achievement, providing insights and value of mentoring and the balance of career and family. We encourage you to check out these findings at the AAF website, aaf.org. I'd like to ask the 2006 Hall of Achievement inductees to stand when I call your name and remain standing. Ladies and gentlemen, please hold your applause, if you can, as we read off the names of the inductees that are being honored this afternoon. Ready? You ready to stand? Jason Binn, Niche Media. Maurice Coffey, Procter & Gamble. Beth-Ann Eason, Yahoo. Sean Finnegan, OMD Digital. Courteney Monroe, Home Box Office, HBO. Michelle Peluso, Travelocity. And Mark Hans Richer, General Motors. Congratulations, everybody. One final note before we begin lunch, I would also like to thank our sponsors. First and foremost, for hosting last night's reception, the New York Times. And in alphabetical order, the sponsor of today's event: Advertising Age, Adweek Magazines, AOL, BBDO New York, Condé Nast, Meredith, Procter & Gamble, the New York Times again, USA Today, Velasas, and Yahoo. Thank you all for being here today. Hope you enjoy the lunch. Hope you enjoy the program. Have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, and congratulations to this year's 2006 Hall of Achievement winners. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the chairman of the Advertising Hall of Achievement Committee and the executive vice president, publisher of Adweek Magazine, Wright Ferguson.
I'm going to have to talk to my wardrobe consultant, also known as my wife. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us as we induct 7 remarkable individuals into the Hall of Achievement. I'd also like to personally thank the Planning Committee and the Council of Judges for their hard work. It's a difficult task to choose from so many quality and qualified advertising professionals. But I think you will agree that this year's inductees are an impressive group of young men and women. Before we begin the awards program, can I please ask you to turn off your cell phones or to silence them? Thank you. Also, please note that the AAF will stream a webcast of today's proceedings beginning Thursday, November 16th. Simply go to www.aaf.org and click on the Advertising Hall of Achievement webcast link. And if you're patching into this program right now from Tierra del Fuego, welcome from New York. The Hall of Achievement Awards recognize young advertising professionals who are making a significant impact on the industry through their leadership, achievements, and personal qualities, all of which inspires others to excel. Candidates for this award must meet 4 specific criteria. 1, they must be 40 years or younger at the time of nomination. They must be employed in the American advertising industry, have an outstanding career with measurable results in the field of advertising, and finally, possess qualities that motivate others to excel. In short, the members of the Hall of Achievement are out there making a difference in the world of advertising each and every day. And so on this day, we're proud to induct these nominees into the 2006 Hall of Achievement. So let's get on with the show. To introduce our first honorees, please welcome Laura Desmond, CEO, Starcom MediaVest Group, and Greg D'Alba, COO, CNN Sales and Marketing for Turner Broadcasting.
Good afternoon. John Lennon ignited a generation with these provoking words, "Power to the people." And Jason Binn has pioneered a dramatic change in publishing with a slight variation, "Product to the people." With the launch of Niche Media, the company that Jason runs today, Jason is a maven in devising and executing successful strategy that engages upscale consumers where they live, where they eat, where they sleep and dine, and of course, where they shop. And all through the satisfying flip of a glossy magazine page. From Ocean Drive in Miami to Rodeo Drive in Los Angeles to Newbury Street in Boston. This market is better than reaching the sleek consumer than no one else. That is Niche Media. It all began 15 years ago with perfume birthday cards garnished with pink rose stickers sent to select ad execs. Inside the red envelope was a most unusual present. Jason's resume, to be exact. Having just graduated from Boston University, within 3 months, he was managing 3 accounts at Darcy. From there, he and a partner headed south, wooing Claudia Schiffer to grace the debut cover of Ocean Drive. Did thick greeting cards and red roses play a part in this success? I don't know. But I do know that because of Jason, a new publishing model was born. Well-bred, well-read, quality productions for upscale readers.
Jason next rejuvenated the 20-year-old Hampton magazine, bursting its ad revenue in circulation during the hot summer season. That's hot not only in temperature, but performance. 200-plus page books bursting out every week in the summertime. Hampton served as a springboard to New York, Los Angeles, and later expansions to Aspen, Boston, Washington, D.C., and recently Las Vegas. Niche medias, and I must admit, must-read magazines ooze with opulence, success, and more importantly, access. Unparalleled access to a choice local audience of movers, shakers, and opinion makers. When Jason, in his own imitable style, brings together advertisers and celebrities, the benefits extend beyond business as usual. It translates into enthusiastic support for many local and national charities, including the Women's International Zionist Organization, Race to Erase MS, Love Heals, Fight for Children, Best Buddies, and more. So the next time you're lucky enough to attend one of Jason's legendary events, ask the bartender to mix you a special drink. Take 1 part idea, 1 part gut instinct, 1 part extraordinary drive, and a big splash of passion. What does that get you? Somewhere in the range of a $100 million company. I promise you I won't give that figure, but it's up there, we know that. An 8-year-old company that provides advertisers with unique marketing promotional opportunities that reach some of the most desirable consumers on earth. And I'll drink to that anytime.
I think I came to know Jason the way a lot of people did, which is that he just sort of appeared one day. And once Jason appears in your life, you kind of don't have a choice as to whether or not you know him. All of a sudden, he's there. I don't think I've ever seen anybody who puts as much passion into what they do as Jason does.
Anyone who knows Jason knows that when he wants something, it's like all he can think about, and he just pursues, whether it's business or his family or, you know, me in the beginning.
He's been able to take the magazines that he's created and make them a part of the local community in every single territory that he's started.
Along comes this entrepreneur, and he builds this business from the ground up, and it's really very targeted, very focused, very high-end. In a day and age when you shouldn't be able to succeed as an independent entrepreneur, he's done that by differentiating his products in the marketplace.
He really does care about the clients. He cares about his workers.
And he's doing things for his business, and he's working his butt off at the same time. He's still up at midnight, at 1 a.m., at 2 a.m., and he's doing emails.
Checking in, seeing how you're doing. He truly has that heart, which is why he has such a great, close-knit community of people surrounding him and pushing for his success.
Instead of saying, hi, how are you? It's, hi, how are you? What can I do for you? Is there anything I can help you out with? And so it's all work, it's all family. He really is a giver. That's what makes him happy. That's what makes him motivated. It's not a job for him. He loves it, and that's what makes it fun.
Jason walks in with his earpiece. Hey, Charlie, what are you doing? He's talking to somebody on the phone.
She thinks the phone is called Dada, and when she hears it ring, like her dad, she gets like,
BlackBerry going up and down. And you get the, yeah, what are you doing? I can't be there right now. What are you talking about? Making a deal. I'll be there at 6 o'clock. Nick and Tony's 9 o'clock. I can't be. No. They just got to come over and stop by for a minute.
I can't think of anyone who deserves this honor as much as you do.
Jason, you are a leader. You are a visionary.
I'm very proud of you, and I congratulate you.
Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first recipient of the 2006 AAF Advertising Hall of Achievement Award, Jason Binn.
If you can't tell, that's my section over there. Everyone stand up again so they can see my section. That's my section. Big investment. Thank you. I actually never saw that video, and when I saw the bill for it, though, I freaked out. But when I heard about who was going to be here today, I was actually excited to pay for it. So thank you all for being here. Lori Burgess, I know you spearheaded that. That was really amazing. If this award is a reflection of my efforts, then I've done well. Ever since I started as a publisher at the ripe age of 24 in 1992, I realized this was my life's work, and I've never looked back. Today, I'm doing what I love with a passion. A passion is what Greg was just talking about. I love to recognize someone in the audience today who gave me that initial investment to start my career, and for him, I am eternally grateful. His name is Michael Warren. He's sitting here today. Life's the ladder, and we are born to climb it. The measure of a person's will is the depth of their passion. And it is this passion that enables us to climb that ladder of life. And those of us who succeed in nearing the top, we succeed because of that passion. Ever since I was a young boy, I watched my mom and dad be very successful, but I never knew what that was, as I was too young to recognize it. But looking back, it was their passion that drove me to succeed, and that is where I got my blueprint from. My dad's in this room today with us, and where is my lovely father? Raise your hand, Dad. And I love you for that, and I'm confident my mom is looking down at us from the heaven as she is with me every step I take. The road to the future looks even brighter today thanks to the addition of my new partners, Brian Greenspun and Michael Carr. Michael, who flew here today to be with us from Las Vegas and sharing this moment. Michael, where are you? Please raise your hand. Thank you. I'm confident that the infinite wisdom that they bring to our company will actually take us to another level, a bigger level. And to my beautiful wife, Haley, you were very good on the big screen, my love, who actually, Richard was there when we first met, and it's great to be here with friends and sharing this moment, and our daughter, Penny, who I was really impressed. I never knew she could handle the phone so well. You're the center of my universe. They say that behind every successful man is a strong woman. And in fact, I find myself standing behind her, as most of you know, most of the time. But that's easy to do. My wife is an amazing woman, and her loving support makes me all that I am. My family is most important to me, and without the love that surrounds me, I could not do what I do. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank you all for being here today and sharing in this moment. I want to thank my friends for coming here and supporting me. It's because of all of you that I'm here today. And enjoy the rest of your luncheon. Thank you.
To introduce our next award, here is the Vice President of Marketing North America for the Procter & Gamble Company, Ted Worley, and the Regional Vice President, New York Sales for AOL, John Sedlak.
Dirty dishes, glassware, and utensils for 600 people. Plus all of those pots and pans, and well, you don't even want to go in the kitchen in the back there. But it's all well under control because I understand that Maurice Coffey has stepped out for a moment to lend a hand in the kitchen. I mean, really, who is better at cleaning up than our next inductee? This is the man whose innovative management of the revolutionary Swiffer WetJet led to his promotion to brand manager for the entire Swiffer franchise. That's Procter & Gamble's product line that's reinvented how America tackles household cleaning. Just ask some of TV's most famous housekeepers. like Rosario from Will and Grace, Alice from the Brady Bunch, Joffrey from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and Florence from the Jeffersons. Maurice's creative campaign put them into a memorable TV commercial relaxing at a tropical resort. The spot was so popular, it even generated an Entertainment Tonight segment updating the lives of these beloved actors. Advertising that triggers programming, breakthrough results. That's the type of work that Maurice is known for around Procter & Gamble. Today, as an associate marketing director, his work has a global impact, but he's been making a big difference ever since he started as a summer intern back in 1995, working on the Bounce brand in the US. After receiving his MBA from the University of Rochester, he returned to P&G full-time and became part of the team that launched Dry-L, the 30-minute at-home cleaning system for special care and dry clean clothes. He developed an innovative campaign that allowed consumers to experience the product through mall demonstrations, yet another first for Procter & Gamble.
Now, since that time, Maurice's innovations have kept on coming, enlisting QVC and direct response TV as viable marketing channels, initiating and developing cross-promotions for movies like Made in Manhattan and The Cat in the Hat, working with TV shows like Trading Spaces and the Learning Channel's new Home Made Simple. Now, outside the home, that he shares, by the way, with his wife and 2 daughters, Maurice once again takes the lead on community issues that are actually pretty overwhelming. He recently assembled a team of 30 P&G employees to promote the multiple events at Cincinnati's Queen City Fusion Weekend. This is a weekend celebration that poured over $8 million into the local community in Cincinnati. $400,000, in addition to the $8 million, went to college scholarships to help kids achieve their dreams. Now, when Maurice himself was a small boy, there was a music band, a group that sang about getting on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. And that's exactly what Maurice did when he got Jessica Simpson on the cover with a Swiffer wet jet, no less. This was the first P&G product to ever appear on the cover of Rolling Stone. And with that, what we have is a little bit of cleaning product and a little bit of rock and roll.
Dear Nominating Committee, I would like to bring to your attention Maurice Coffey of Procter & Gamble, who has established himself at the forefront of the next generation of P&G marketing leaders.
During his time at P&G, he has proven to be a man of innovation and tremendous vision. He champions our interactive brand, Home Made Simple, bringing fresh new insight and influence across the globe.
Maurice is one of the most forward-thinking, out-of-the-box marketers I've ever worked with. He was at the forefront of implementing holistic marketing and communication plans, which led to the success of the entire Swiffer franchise.
In fact, he was able to get Swiffer into the hands of Jessica Simpson and got it on the cover of Rolling Stone, and into the spotlight with Jennifer Lopez in the movie Made in Manhattan.
Maurice has always had tremendous passion for learning new things, from building model cars and G.I. Joe cartoons as a kid, to growing peppers and making wine at home as an adult. When Maurice sets his mind to something, he won't quit until he gets it right.
Maurice's incredible passion for everything he does is what initially drew me to him. Not only the great passion for his work, but most importantly, he shows great passion for his family. From coaching Michaela's sports teams to just hanging out with his girls, his passion defines who he is.
Maurice's mother and I just couldn't be more proud of him. I believe the reason he's become a tremendous marketer, a loving husband, and a strong father is he's got the 3 PERS: perception, persistence, and perfection.
I love my daddy, and he's the best in the whole world.
He provided me with good, clean sun by fueling my cleaning machine and making it run.
It's been a pleasure working with and knowing Maurice for more than a decade. Whether he's raising his babies or his grands, Maurice has always known how to build a strong family. I can think of no one more deserving of this tremendous honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, the recipient of the 2006 AAF Advertising Hall of Achievement Award, Maurice Coffey.
Wow, just wow, that's all I can tell you. I'm most grateful. You guys have no idea how honored I am to receive the American Advertising Federation's 2006 Advertising Hall of Achievement Award. Say that 4 times fast. I'm also very pleased to receive this award in front of my family, who I've got gathered over here in the corner. I'd like to hear you guys a little bit over there. My friends, my colleagues, and really the people who are the reason why I'm standing in front of you today. And while we're here to honor kind of myself and the 6 others, I represent all the things that they have instilled in me over the years, and I am honored by them in their presence. So one opportunity for me to, in front of all these people, say thank you, family, thank you, friends, thank you, colleagues. I am a product of your investment in my career over the last couple of years. I'm grateful to the AFF Selection Committee, to my nominator, Ted Worley, and John Sedlak for bringing me up here, to the council judges, many of you who I've met over the last couple of days who support the nomination, to my company, Procter & Gamble, who's provided me the supportive environment and been crazy enough to let me do some of the things that I've done over the last years, and to the many companies and organizations present here that's sponsoring this award. I'd be remiss to not mention my lovely wife, Leela, and my 2 daughters, Michaela and Mackenzie. Leela is in her own right is an outstanding marketer as Associate Marketing Director for the Tampax brands. And you can imagine 2 Procter people in the same household, what kind of debates we have over different marketing techniques. So that's really what keeps me on my toes, is keeping in front of her. I'd like to thank my parents, Dr. Maurice Coffey Sr., his wife, my mother, Grace Coffey. If you 2 could stand up, please. My sister, Dr. Shannon Coffey. This side. And my baby sister, she will always be my baby sister, Courtney. I have to say Courtney Jones now, with her lovely husband, David Jones, over here. I mean, as you know, the American Advertising Federation established this program as a way to recognize young, talented individuals who are making a significant impact on the advertising agency. And first and foremost, I'm happy to still be considered young, as I'm reminded by my growing daughters and my friends that I'm getting older every day. And having read the fascinating and interesting bios of the other 6 colleagues, I have to tell you it's very humbling indeed for me to join the long list of nominees, as present and past, and be considered for award of achievement at this level. 2 of the things that really drive me is passion and family, and it's really impressive and really impactful that just doing things that make me passionate, whether it's community involvement, whether it's the work I do at Procter, whether it's my interactions with my advertising agencies and partners, has gotten me up here. Just living my passion and letting that passion come through. And the most impressive thing that I will take for the rest of my life, actually, is being able to do that in front of my friends and my family. So thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. Thank you, and God bless.
To introduce our next award, here is the Chief Sales Officer for Yahoo Incorporated and an Advertising Hall of Achievement member, Wenda Harris-Millard, and the Associate Publisher of the Ad Age Group for Crane Communications and an Advertising Hall of Achievement member, Scott Donaton.
Education has the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. The internet has the 3 C's: category, customers, and community. And nobody's mastered them better than Beth-Ann Eason. As Vice President of Category Development at Yahoo, she wears a lot of hats, developing innovative products that meet marketers' needs, enhancing Yahoo's internet advertising effectiveness for clients, harnessing in-house resources to devise and deliver new programs. And just about anyone you talk to will tell you that she wears all those hats, and they fit her very well indeed. With so much changing in the online world every day, or every hour, or every minute for that matter, it's easy to be caught up in short-term business cycles, not Beth-Ann. She's a true strategist who's always thinking several moves ahead, figuring out how Yahoo can not only get there first, but also get there best and biggest. She knows that the successful strategies involve cementing long-term partnerships through customized, creative, and effective marketing programs, and that's exactly what she's done at Yahoo, designing and executing category strategies that have generated hundreds of millions of dollars from automotive, consumer packaged goods, entertainment, finance, pharmaceuticals, retail, technology, telcos, and travel. But as she'll be the first to tell you, she hasn't done it alone.
And in addition to those 3 C's, category, customer, and community, let's add a 4th, collaboration. Everyone who wrote in support of Beth-Ann's nomination made a special point of singling out her team-building skills. A special gift for hiring talent, wrote one colleague. She elicits hard work, excellence, and thoughtfulness from her staff, wrote another. Beth-Ann is that rare leader who's truly willing to let others take the credit and the accolades. Well, for today at least, let's send some of that her way. She's earned it, beginning with her early days as a sales rep at The New Yorker and as an account manager at Family Circle and Adweek. At DoubleClick, she spearheaded acquisitions and refocused the strategic plan that resulted in revenue goals in excess of $100 million. From there, it was on to Ziff Davis Media with responsibility for a full suite of diverse properties, creating a real sense of community among sellers, delivering industry-leading retention rates, encouraging a collaborative vision of success that keeps people around her excited and enthused, and delivering top-notch performance. That's all in a day's work for Beth-Ann Eason. And if she decides to add any more hats to her collection, let's at least hope she orders them online.
That sure looks like a great way to spend the afternoon. Click on number 2 for more videos of howler monkeys playing guitar. Number 1 on the 9 today is Beth-Ann Eason's induction video into the AAF Hall of Fame. Check out this inside look into what's made our friend Beth-Ann such a great success at such a young age.
You know, Beth-Ann has always been an industry innovator. From her days at DoubleClick to Ziff Davis to Yahoo, she's always at the forefront of what's next. I mean, the girl's just cutting edge.
Ah, it's typing in all caps again. Hello, tech support. Tech support.
One thing everyone notices about Beth-Ann is she's all about family. So no matter how hard she works, at the end of the day, Tony, Rick, and Quinn are everything to her.
Who brought kids into the office?
One of Beth-Ann's strengths is looking at the organization, looking at the many complexities and figuring out ways to streamline that to make us much more efficient.
Solid and dot, you report into that person. Squiggly line, it's a status report. Karen and Oliver, you report to each other. Brian?
It looks like I have 6 managers.
Would you be a team player?
Beth-Ann epitomizes the criteria for this award, the most prestigious for professionals in our industry, 40 and under. She has an extraordinary set of career achievements. She is always producing measurable results, and she is a great mentor and truly inspirational to those who work around her. Beth-Ann, thank you so much for all that you have done for me as a colleague and, more important, as a friend. And here's to you. More happiness, more success.
Congratulations, Beth-Ann! Those were the 9. Be sure to vote for your favorite. We're voting for number 1. I'm Maria Sansone. Now give her the award already. Congratulations, Beth-Ann.
Ladies and gentlemen, my very longtime colleague and very, very dear friend, the recipient of the 2006 AAF Advertising Hall of Achievement Award, Beth-Ann Eason.
We're going to be getting that video right up on YouTube so that you can remix it, put it on your blogs, get it out to your friends and family right away. I am so grateful to be accepting this award today with my fellow recipients. What an honor. Thank you. Oprah once said, "What you get in life is determined by what you have the courage to ask for." And I was so lucky to have learned this lesson very early in my career. Right out of school, I worked for two gentlemen at the Manhattan Yacht Club that were 27 and total dreamers. Granted, they had some nice trust funds to tap into, which never hurts, but they were dreamers just the same, and they really believed in thinking big. They planned an international regatta and brought in 20 teams from around the world to come to this event. And then they decided it would be really neat to do it with the Yacht Club de Monaco and have Prince Albert show up. I naively thought they actually knew Prince Albert, which they did not, but they thought they should. And 3 months later, they did. It was then that I learned the power of vision and dreams, and how lucky was I to have met Kevin O'Connor a few years later as he saw what the internet could be to all of us. And I was incredibly grateful to be part of that early DoubleClick team. He helped us to believe, to jump on board this startup, to buy those banner ads with promises of hits and click-throughs that nobody really understood what that meant, but they did it anyway, and to hold on to that stock perhaps a little longer than was prudent, but we believed. And he saw that the internet would really change media as we knew it. It's predicted that in the next 3 to 5 years, media will change more than it has in the last 50. And I am so excited to be a part of that change with all of you. What I'm most grateful for as I stand here today is the people with whom I've taken this journey, because it's really about all of you that have made this possible. I was probably about my son Rick's age when I watched my father accept his first award. He led by example. He showed us the importance of giving back and the importance of achievement. It wasn't mandated, it was assumed, and he led by example. My mom taught us the importance of having an informed opinion and sharing it often and loudly, very loudly. She would be proud. My brother and sister, who were so exceptional. I promised I wasn't going to do this. In their own right, you brought sibling rivalry and pushed and got us so far, but were there to pick us up along the way. My husband, who was a constant reminder that making a living is not the same thing as making a life. To my friend and mentor, Wenda Millard, who would have known that 14 years ago, when I met her, she would change the course of my life forever. Thank you. And so many of the teams who've been with me along the way. You've built the businesses, you've made it possible, you've kept it going. And my mentors and friends who have been trusted advisors throughout the path, thank you. Your support has meant more than you can possibly imagine. And for my sons, Rick and Quint, who keep me grounded and laughing along the way, I hope that they too find a career that they are passionate about and that they have the courage to make it through the bubble, and that someday when they are standing on this stage accepting an award for what they have accomplished, that they too are grateful for the journey that they have been on, the people that they've been on it with, and that they are delighted by what the future holds. Thank you so much.
To introduce our next award, here is the Vice President of Advertising Sales for USA Today, Lori Erdos, and the publisher of Media Week, Geraldine Fitzgerald.
Good afternoon. Al Gore once claimed he invented the internet. Some people think Bill Gates owns the internet. But Sean Finnegan is the only person I know who's been called the Bono of the internet. Still, with everything Sean's accomplished in so short a time, I get the feeling that he still hasn't found what he's looking for. The best is yet to come, and yet what's come before hasn't been too shabby. As the leader of OMD Digital, the interactive agency with the highest digital media billings, Sean spearheads a team that's innovating and integrating for a who's who of America's top brands: Bank of America, Dell, FedEx, Lowe's, GE, McDonald's, and lots more. Early in his career, while at BBDO New York, Sean heard the call of the internet. And unlike a lot of people, he didn't put it on hold or let it go to voicemail. He answered and soon helped turn interactive advertising from concept to reality. He helped build the business from the ground floor up at Zenith Media, APL Digital, and maybe even the odd .com.
5 years ago, Sean started at Tribal DVD Chicago and soon transitioned to the newly formed OMD Digital, where he now serves as U.S. Director. Yes, in only a few short years, Sean made things happen ASAP. In fact, he's given new meaning to that familiar acronym. In Sean's world, ASAP stands for Azuma Student Assistance Program. That's the organization he started with his pal, former Chicago Bears All-Pro Jerry Azuma. And just as it's looking like it might be the Bears' year, which is hard for a Giants fan like me to say, ASAP ensures that it's always a good year for underprivileged student athletes who receive high school scholarships from ASAP. Giving back to the community is something you hear a lot about, but for Sean, it's a way of life. Coming from a family with 5 younger siblings, he's always had an affinity for helping kids. He served as youth director for the Astoria Baptist Church in Queens, leading a team of mentors for underprivileged youth from a nearby housing project. Sean's been a major force in the Chicago ad community's Off the Street Club and helped run the annual Tourney for Tommy basketball event. And he's been a longtime AAF National Student Advertising Competition participant, first as a competitor and later as a judge. And on a personal note, Media Week honored Sean last year as our 2005 Media All-Star for Interactive Media. Yes, there's always been a lot on Sean's plate, and today we're proud to add even more: induction into the Advertising Hall of Fame and a very special honor, the 2006 Jack Avrett Volunteer Spirit Award, which is given to a young industry executive who demonstrates exceptional public service that extends beyond that of his or her accomplished peers.
Bribery. He's smart. People respect his point of view, and he's always got something interesting to say. The guy's got some depth to his comments.
Adweek, Ad Age, Wall Street Journal. If it is a publication, Sean will surely be in it.
Sean Finnegan has outshone Donnie Deutsch. He's everywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, the recipient of the 2006 AAF Advertising Hall of Achievement and Jack Avrett Volunteer Spirit Award, Sean Finnegan.
Thank you very much. 2 awards. Well, I brought 4 children here, so I guess I could take 2 more home if you have them handy. They're going to be fighting over these 2, so. Thank you very much. I am humbled and honored to receive this award. Thank you, Mr. Snyder. Thank you, Andy, the American Advertising Federation, as well as OMD. As I mentioned earlier, I am a 2-time NSAC volunteer and contributor, and this award really goes back to the poor days of college, when you had no money and you had no time and you had just a zeal for advertising, and you put these talents, if you have them, to work and on the college level. And so I have a lot of respect for this organization, and I do truly appreciate this award. I think the only thing that I truly bring to the table, because frankly, when I hear these remarks about me, I really don't know who you're talking about. And I'm only half kidding, because all I'm frankly doing is working very hard to feed all those children that Melody and I keep having. But these things just keep adding up, which keeps me getting paid, keeps the food coming in. It's all a good thing. But I think the only thing I truly bring to the table is a recognition of talent. Over the years, I've been honored to work with and for a number of ad legends, as well as I hope to be growing them within the OMD Digital unit. During this wonderful time of change and challenge and chaos, this time of technology and trends, I've been sitting in here in this room all morning. There's probably been 3 announcements that I have to go catch up on when I get back. But through all of this change, there's only one redeeming factor and one true quality to invest in, and that's people. People will always deliver your ROI. They will always matter, and regardless of outsourcing, regardless of automation and time of change, you can never go wrong when investing in those people. And I think we've done a pretty good job at OMD, back at the ranch doing that, as well as on the home front. I think we're living that out live. So I do have my family here with me, to help me accept this award. I have my parents, Mike and Terry, as well as my in-laws, Tom and Peggy, here from Arizona. And then I also have my beautiful bride, Melody, and 4 of our children here, who I'd like Melody and the children to stand up. They're in the center there. Hunter, Claire, Morgan, and Logan. Yeah, they truly are, my family is truly my inspiration. And some may gawk and think that I'm crazy, or we're crazy, and having this many children, certainly, even some of my family. But, I go home every day and they are relaxation to me. We have a full household of love, and my wife homeschools our children. And so she is much more ambitious than I, much more talented than I am, and I owe every aspect of this award to her, to my beautiful wife, Melody. So thank you, Melody. I wouldn't ask that she get up again because she's due in January, and I might hear about that later. So I'm also thankful for the Jack Avrett Award. I didn't know him personally, but I did hear some nice, kind things about him, and I certainly respect his person and character. I do have other people in my life similar to him that have been driving forces to give back into the community. People such as Milt Gossett, you remember Milt from Compton and Saatchi. Milt was a great man and an ad legend that gave back to his community multiple ways, and I was happy to tag along with him to many universities and speak about the transition from radio to TV and then from TV to online. It was a nice little slapstick that Milt and I put together. Being up here today, I'd also like to thank my great uncle Tom Lux, who actually helped get me into this business, was influential into the internship I got at BBDO. He was the head of advertising for Gillette for a number of years. So I won't go on and thank. There's multiple people that I'd like to thank, but I'm truly appreciative of this award. And thank you very much, and thank you for this honor.
To introduce our next award, here is the President and CEO of BBDO New York and Vice Chair of the Advertising Hall of Achievement, John Osborne, and the President of Business Media for Condé Nast Publications and an Advertising Hall of Achievement member, David Carey.
By way of introduction, our next winner often travels in an entourage. She actually sings soprano, and she's wired, so wired in fact that she's 12 steps ahead of everybody before most of us even roll out of bed in the morning. You'll notice I didn't make any Deadwood jokes or 6 Feet Under or Sex in the City, or certainly no Sex in the City jokes. Happily married, 2 kids, for the record. I've actually known Courteney Monroe for about 10 years now. She's a complete class act. She's a consummate professional. She's really smart. She's a creative radiator, just the kind of person you want to meet, just the kind of person you want working on your business, just the kind of person you want as a client, a friend, and by the way, she's a great mother as well. Courteney is undoubtedly the only winner here today who created a campaign that many of you have actually sat on. That's right, sat on. Courteney was behind, no pun intended, those subway cars that were wrapped top to bottom, wall to wall, to look like a Western saloon for Deadwood. Promotions that cut through clutter, cross over to become pop culture, that generate attention in major publications like the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal. When the advertising for a TV show becomes almost as popular as the program itself, then you know you've really got yourself a true winner. And winning is exactly what Courteney Monroe has been doing ever since she began her career at BBDO, early on working on Campbell's Soup. Then from there she went on to American Express and ultimately took time out to get her MBA at Wharton from the University of Pennsylvania.
In 1998, Courtney started her career at HBO, where due to the strength of her creative and strategic vision, she moved quickly up the corporate ladder to her current post as Senior Vice President of Consumer Marketing. She's responsible for all off-channel advertising, licensing, retailing, and promotion for all of the HBO programs that I hold so dearly. And I can tell you personally from working with Courtney, when it comes to identifying ideas that are wicked smart and in a class by themselves, Courtney's the best person I've ever seen. Despite all the pressures in the office, Courtney finds time to serve on the Trustees Council of Penn Women for the advancement of women's issues. She and her husband, Mike, also support the Children's Hopes and Dreams Foundation and the Allen T. Brown Foundation to cure paralysis. This is, of course, in addition to juggling 2 little ones under the age of 2 at home. And for that, she certainly gets my vote for this honor. Back when Courtney left BBDO, she went to her boss, John Osborne at the time, and said she wanted to flee the madness of agency life and focus on a brand as a single client. I think it's an interesting idea, fleeing the madness of agency life. I can imagine a book and maybe a TV show, and if that happens, I know someone who can brilliantly promote it.
Courtney is an amazing executive. She's incredibly smart, she's creative, and she does a great job dealing with Hollywood talent. Courtney started her career at BBDO, and I remember when she first came to HBO, she didn't quite understand that we're different than the broadcast networks. We don't promote our programming like the broadcast networks do. I remember her first few Sopranos campaigns.
Meet Tony Soprano.
Hello, I'm home.
A lovable, laughable, affable dad whose day job can be murder. Poor Tony can't seem to get anything right.
Watch the
He can't get any respect.
It says with pulp.
You like it with pulp.
I like the one that says some pulp.
Everyone loves Tony. He's one bad dad gone mad. Super Soprano Sundays on HBO.
Courtney, you have come a long way since then. Just remember, the next time you see Sarah Jessica Parker, she may be on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but she'll never be in the Advertising Hall of Fame. Congratulations on this really well-deserved honor. Now let's take a look at some of the good stuff you've done to earn it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the recipient of the 2006 AAF Advertising Hall of Achievement Award, Courteney Monroe.
Thank you so much, John and David, for that incredible introduction. I feel quite overwhelmed and undeserving, to say the least. Thank you so much to the AAF and specifically to the Council of Judges for bestowing this honor on me. I, too, am humbled to be considered in the same category with each of my fellow inductees. I am so fortunate to have stumbled into a career in marketing and advertising, as it was certainly not by design. Rather, during my high school years in Washington, D.C., I was convinced that I wanted to become the next Katie Couric. In fact, my father and I even came up with a name for the morning news program that I fully intended to broadcast from New York City. Breakfast with Courtney, it was to be called. I was told by others in the field that the best way to pursue a career in broadcast journalism was to move to a very small market and work at a local TV station. Okay, I thought I could do that. And then I took a look at the list of the locations of the 100 smallest markets in the US. Not exactly the bright lights of New York's NBC studios I had envisioned. So, perusing the Office of Career Counseling at Williams College my senior year, I noticed one day that BBDO was coming to recruit on campus. It was my very first job interview and ultimately my very first job. It was there that I fell in love with the dynamic, creative, fast-paced world of advertising. Working around the clock with some of the best, most accomplished people in the business, I realized very early on that this was for me. I remember my very first photo shoot as an assistant account executive on the GE account as if it were yesterday. We were shooting the new line of Monogram appliances, and one of my responsibilities was to make sure that the appliances were delivered from Louisville, Kentucky to the studio. Simple enough, right? Well, not being from New York, I was confused by the address that I was given that read LIC, New York. Rather than ask my supervisor what I feared was a really silly question, I just assumed that somehow LIC stood for Long Island and had the appliances shipped there instead of Long Island City, Queens. Needless to say, it was not exactly what you would call an advertising Hall of Achievement moment. After 4, thankfully more successful years at BBDO, I went on to business school and to a variety of other marketing and advertising-related jobs before landing my dream job at HBO 8 years ago. For my first assignment as a new marketing manager, I did not create that spot that Eric put up there for the record. I was given 13 scripts of a new show called The Sopranos and charged with developing a marketing campaign to help launch it. A show about opera singers, I thought, who in the world is going to be interested in watching that? Well, little did I know that I was being given the opportunity to market what would arguably become one of the best shows in the history of television. And those opportunities have not stopped. I've often thought that I could market almost any product, but I have the good fortune of not having to market just any product. Rather, I get to spend my days immersed in a brand that is unlike any other in its category, and one that I, and fortunately many others, are totally passionate about. And let's be honest, the fact that I get to attend the Emmy Awards and lots of other very cool star-studded parties certainly doesn't hurt. In this business, as in many others, you are only as good as the people that work with you. So I couldn't possibly accept this honor without thanking my incredibly dedicated and loyal consumer marketing team at HBO, as well as all the agencies with whom we work. You make me look good every single day, and it is because of you that I am standing up here today. You can choose your career, you can choose your company, you can even choose your job, but you can never choose your boss. But if you could, you would choose Eric Kessler. I have worked either indirectly or directly for Eric ever since I joined HBO, and I can honestly say he is responsible for every single opportunity that I have been given. He is smart, creative, supportive, respectful, loyal, and compassionate. His unbridled enthusiasm for this business is both infectious and inspiring. Finally, I just want to take a moment to thank my wonderful family. To my parents who graciously traveled to be here today, you have made me feel worthy of life's Hall of Achievement for as long as I can remember. Thank you for your unwavering love and support and for providing me with every opportunity to succeed. And to my little brother Spencer, who is smarter and kinder than I could ever be, I hope you are as proud of me today as I am of you. And to my husband Mike, who is without question my biggest fan, and who inspires me every day to be a better person. I love you. And finally, to my 2 beautiful children, Miles and Lola, who at 2 and 3 months have absolutely no idea what it is that mommy does every day, but hopefully someday will be very proud. Thank you all again. I'm extremely touched by this honor.
To introduce our next award, here is the Vice President of Interactive for Meredith, Lauren Weiner, and the Executive Director of Media and Marketing for Trilogy, and an Advertising Hall of Achievement member, Linda Thomas Brooks.
Wherever in the world Carmen Sandiego went, she always found that someone had gotten there first, the roaming gnome from Travelocity. And the person responsible for that recognizable, roguish traveling lawn ornament has blazed a few trails of her own. But it might surprise you to hear some of the paths that Michelle Peluso has taken. Lobbying her way onto a plane to Moscow with a group of seasoned Cold War journalists, she did at age 15, turning down several promising job offers upon graduating summa cum laude from Wharton to study philosophy at Oxford University, or jumping off the fast track at Boston Consulting Group to head to Washington and a stint in the Clinton White House. She served there as senior advisor to the US Secretary of Labor and managed a $10 billion portfolio. Unconventional choices, unconditional success. And now she's helping millions and millions of people make their travel choices as president and CEO of Travelocity, one of the web's most all-encompassing premier travel sites. Travelers make their decisions and choose their destinations, all backed by the Travelocity guarantee, the unprecedented industry standard. Michelle came to Travelocity from Site 59, the last-minute online travel site she co-founded and built up in only 2 years before Travelocity acquired it for $43 million. She brought along her infectious entrepreneurial spirit, which shines through every day. From brown bagging it with her staff to personally answering customer emails, from cultivating new relationships with Travelocity suppliers and distributors to brainstorming with in-house Travelocity teams.
The results speak for themselves. 3 Effies, including a gold. The youngest of 5 women to watch cited by Fortune magazine. Chosen Technology Person of the Year by Travel Agent magazine. Named a customer-centered leader by Fast Company magazine. Honored by the National Italian-American Foundation with a Special Achievement Award in business. And those special achievements have always extended to charitable organizations too. While at Wharton, she volunteered at an at-risk mentoring program and the Ronald McDonald House. She serves on the board of directors of Krista House, an organization dedicated to helping people with AIDS. And she serves on the board of directors of TechnoServe, whose help of poor working people in third world countries in Africa and Latin America has been recognized by the Schwab Foundation for Social Entrepreneurship. It's no surprise that Michelle is working to help people around the globe because she's always had a worldwide focus and an intense love of travel. She's participated in a military mission over the jungles of Vietnam, danced salsa till dawn in Oaxaca, explored Barcelona and Madrid and Marbella. And unfortunately for us, she's adding to this list today because she's out of town on a previously scheduled commitment. Accepting on Michelle's behalf today is Jeffrey Gluck, who might be able to shed some light on her latest travel adventures, and maybe he can tell us if the gnome is with her.
Our featured bigwig today is Michelle Peluso, the president and CEO of Travelocity, a remarkable person who has done more in 34 years than most people do in 84. Michelle had her first business when she opened a swim school in her backyard. In college, when most of us were chugging beer, she completed an art history degree in Italy. She also traveled to about 20 different countries. Then she attended Wharton, where she graduated summa cum laude, which is far better than regular cum laude. After that, she got a master's degree in economics from a not-too-shabby institution called Oxford. Next, she went to work for the Boston Consulting Group. While working there, she was selected to serve as one of 17 White House Fellows during the Clinton administration, where she managed a $10 billion portfolio. She's still just in her 20s, so what does she do? She starts a company. As co-founder of Site 59, a travel website, she earned the titles Technology Person of the Year and Entrepreneur of the Year. Travelocity acquired her company in 2002, and to their great good fortune, Michelle is CEO and president. Faster than you can say, the Queen wears support hose. She hired a new branding partner, adopted a devilishly handsome gnome as the company's icon, re-engineered the entire site, and reversed a $55 million deficit. Bloody marvelous. When she's not leading Travelocity's expansion into Europe and Asia, she sits on the board of TechnoServe, which helps people in the developing world create economic opportunity. I salute you, Michelle. I'm your #1 fan. Not because you've broadened my horizons and paid for the hotel minibar, but because of what you live by. That if life is not lived like a grand adventure, then it's a wet tea bag. I'd clap were my hands not cemented in my pockets. I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, accepting for Michelle Peluso is Jeffrey Glick, Chief Marketing Officer, Travelocity.
Michelle deeply regrets not being able to be here today. Unfortunately, a board of directors meeting was scheduled 2 years ago for this date, and it's very sad, but she asked me to say a few words on her behalf. It is an extraordinary thing to have a CEO who believes in the power of marketing to revitalize a company that had lost its way. When we brought game-changing ideas to Michelle, like spending $80 million a year behind a kidnapped lawn ornament. When we brought ideas like guaranteeing that your travel will go perfectly as an online travel agency, Michelle not only leapt at these ideas, she turned her charisma and smarts and energy behind making them real. It's an extraordinary thing to have a CEO who not only believes in bold game-changing ideas, but who realizes when you make promises to customers, the very best marketing is living up to those promises. It is also an extraordinary thing to watch Michelle, because she knows that the very first step in treating your customers right is treating your employees right. Which is why somehow Michelle finds the time to be a mentor to over 30 junior employees at Travelocity, to jet around the world to the 15 countries we operate in and rally the troops, and to find time for her community, as you heard. Not only the achievements and community contributions mentioned, she's also been a big sister to a family in Atlanta since college, and she turns every day to thinking not only about our employees and customers, but to how to make the world a little better place. So she did insist that I mention that the award belongs not just to Michelle, but to our creative partners at McKinney and to the entire Travelocity marketing team. But I know better. I know the AAF could not have picked a better recipient, and all of us at Travelocity are very proud of her recognition. Thank you.
To introduce our next award, here is the Vice President of Customer Marketing for Velasas, Mike Kowalczyk, and the Senior Vice President and Chief Advertising Officer for the New York Times Media Group, Denise Warren.
Wow, 6 inspirational stories, and I think you'll find the last one is just that. We've still got 2 months to go before Donald Trump returns to NBC and starts delivering his famous catchphrase, but it's safe to say that when the Donald met our next inductee, he said one simple thing: Mark Hans, you're hired. And I say hired because no one has shaken up the automotive industry quite like Mark Hans. The partnership he engineered with The Apprentice last year helped sell over 1,000 Pontiac Solstices the day after the show ran, and a total of 7,500 Solstices in the next 10 days, all before one car had even arrived at a dealer's lot. Selling inventory before it even gets in stock. Now that's advertising brilliance. But even more importantly, this wasn't a short-term stunt, but a long-term success. Today, the Pontiac Solstice outsells the previous segment leader for the past 17 years, the Mazda Miata, by 22%. And this despite the fact that the all-new Miata debuted at the same time. A brand new domestic model overtaking an entrenched import. When was the last time you heard that kind of news? out of Detroit. But Mark Hans has been making front page news for a while now. Back-to-back Cannes Gold Lion and Gold Effies, plus the PMA Super Reggie and an MMA Gold and Adweek Buzz Award. He's won them all. And this year, he even received Promo Magazine's Top Interactive Marketing Award for his innovative Google Pontiac initiative.
Before his current position of Director of Marketing at Pontiac, Mark Hans served as Advertising Director for General Motors and launched the successful GMC Professional Grade campaign. Before that, he was Advertising Manager for Chevy Trucks, where he helped launch the Chevy Silverado, GM's highest sales and profit brand. Throughout his career, he's also carved out time to pursue other enriching experiences, like receiving his MBA from the University of Michigan and making time for many charitable and volunteer activities. From working against multiple sclerosis, to tutoring disadvantaged children, to ringing bells for the Salvation Army at Christmas time, Mark Hans brings that same drive and determination he shows at GM every day. And sure, he's had more than his share of high-profile public appearances on The Oprah Winfrey Show, The Apprentice twice, and The Big Idea with Donnie Deutsch, cover boy on Promo Magazine and Advertising Age's Point. But if you were to talk to him one-on-one, he'd probably be more interested in swapping stories about traveling around the world. Like his 6-month adventure trek across Africa, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, sleeping under the stars in the Sahara, a life-changing journey to be sure. Maybe he'll even tell you about the time he swam in a remote river teeming with piranha. Only these man-eating fish didn't eat him, he ate them.
Mark Hans Richer, an amusing advertising anecdote. History tells us Mark Hans attended Northwestern University as a history major. His transcripts confirm he didn't take a single advertising class there. However, unmet demand for stuffed versions of the school's Wildcat mascot launched his business career and spawned his very first ad, Willie Gets Stuffed. His fluffy friends caught on fast, especially with the Brits on campus, who read the headline to mean, Willie Gets f***ed. Mark Hans' real ad career began at DDB Chicago on the Hamburger Helper account. There he experienced the marketing crash and burn with the Hamburger Helper Space Adventure Meal. Then it was on to such sexy brands as Drano, Combat, and Crispy Wheat and Raisins. After traveling the world, Mark Hans returned to DDB to work on McDonald's. 4 years of strategies to up Big Mac consumption got him the gig as the Mickey D's Latin American account director. Before he knew it, he was flying with the real Ronald and his posse to open the first Golden Arches in Bolivia. It caused a near riot. 98, his first gig at GM, ad manager at Chevy, focusing on what else? Trucks. After launching the new Silverado, GM's most profitable and highest-selling vehicle, and an epic rap party with Annie Leibovitz, he moved on to ad director at GMC. He quickly made GMC what it is today, professional grade. And in 2002, he stepped into his new role at Pontiac, where things got really interesting. He became Oprah's favorite thing by helping her give away a bunch of G6s. Considered changing his name to the Mark Hans after the Donald Show helped him sell 1,000 cars in 41 minutes. Opened the world's largest stage, the Pontiac Garage in the heart of Times Square. Taught the world to Google Pontiac. Launched a car exclusively on the web. Won 2 Gold Lions and a couple of Effies. And of course got himself inducted into the American Advertising Federation Hall of Achievement. Not bad for a history major.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct privilege to introduce the recipient of the 2006 AAA Advertising Hall of Achievement Award, Mark Hans Richer.
This is kind of sick. I don't have paper, I have a BlackBerry, so I guess it's 2006. This is where my speech is. It says here on the teleprompters, acceptance remarks 2 minutes, so here we go. I too will invoke someone else that I worked with in the past, a man I once worked for told me that nobody's success was all their own, that they stood on the shoulders of those that came before them and worked with them. Now, this same man also had his fly down during a media event that some of you may have been at. So you can't go with everything he tells you or does, but I believe that it is still true, and I feel a great debt today to take advantage of the time I have here to acknowledge those who have helped me. So what will probably be today's most boring speech, and unfortunately for you, the last speech, so those two things don't go together very well. I'm going to mention a lot of people that I stand on their shoulders through my career so far, and if you know them, just to spice it up a bit, you might want to clap a little bit just to keep it from being totally boring. Now, one thing in the video that was not in there was that after I graduated Northwestern, I traveled around a lot. I actually moved back home in December of 1989 and worked at a small family-owned bowling alley in Lake Zurich, Illinois, Country Lanes. My dad, of course, as I lived back at home after graduating from Northwestern University, which he thought was a pretty cool thing, was kind of like, son, what do you plan on doing with your life? And I'm assuming spraying shoes and mixing vodka and tonics is not what it is. So the only person that actually pulled me out of a lifetime working in the bowling alley was Bob Handelman, my college roommate, who's actually here today, somewhere around here. And I'd like to acknowledge Bob because he was the one who suggested to me that advertising would actually be a path that I might want to pursue and got me the informational interview at DDB in Chicago. He's also the one who took the picture of me with those Willie the Wildcats because he was studying wasn't sure what he wanted to do, and he is now a very successful photographer in his own right here in New York City at bobhandelman.com, if anyone wants to check him out. The person who gave me that informational interview was Robbie Katz, I believe now Robbie Boudreau, and she was the person who gave me the insight that if I left DDB Chicago that day, I'd never get back in, so I better start interviewing now, even though I really didn't think I was there for anything more than information, so I thank her. To Scott Remy and John Zarobsky, my first two bosses at DDB, who taught me work could be very, very fun even while we were failing miserably. To Keith Reinhardt, a great inspiration for being a sage mentor to everyone at DDB and inspiring me and lots of people towards creative business solutions. To Galene Baselli, who was DDB HR at the time and helped me conspire to actually leave DDB, go to Africa, come back a month late, and still give me a job on McDonald's when I came back. To my clients at McDonald's, especially Tom Pickles, there's really a guy at McDonald's named Tom Pickles, and Neil Perry, who allowed me to steal his business from the previous agency that had it and taught me how to get motivated by his encouragement to don't F up every time I'd make a presentation. To Kurt Ritter and Mac Wisner at Chevy Trucks, the co-fathers of Like a Rock, my first GM bosses, and those are the men who convinced me that great marketing could be done at General Motors, and I feel like it's an honor to continue to step in their footsteps to try to do the same as I continue on at GM. And this was also interesting is that in 1998 I went to a historic industrial company while all my friends are going to work for AOL, so I kind of went against the grain a little bit, and that's worked out well for me. To Lynn Myers, the previous general manager of Pontiac GMC, for taking a chance at making a 32-year-old kid a GM executive after I'd only been there for 2 years. To Lee Garfinkel and Susan Cantor and many people at Lowe who are in the back. Yes, very good. Who helped make GMC Professional a great success. To Lynn Myers again for telling me I was going to Pontiac even though I asked, do I have to? Thank you, Lynn, for having that insight. Finally, to Mary Kabitsky, who was so passionate about the Oprah idea to not let it drop, and Larry Woodard for knowing Gayle King. And my current boss, John Larson, for continuing to push the envelope with us, and my Pontiac ad manager, Dino Bernacchi, for being so talented and helping me push it. To Gokul Rajaram and Teresa Meehan at Google for saying why not when we asked to Google Pontiac. Linda Kaplan-Thaler and Tricia Kenny for support of my nomination today. My wife, Amy Pace Richer, who is not able to be here today. We have a 3-month-old daughter, and she felt like she needed to take care of her. But I know that she's here very much in spirit, and she has given me more than I can ever repay. Very finally, to my mother, Gail Richer, who's here today, who nurtured my creativity. My father, Marvin Richer, who nurtured my business sense. And I know he didn't really mean it when he said, advertising, what kind of job is that? When I told him in the family room I wanted to be in advertising. I assume that it's okay now. But then again, I hear the bowling alley is probably still hiring. In closing, I really believe that marketing matters. It is certainly a sexy industry, but I believe that it's an important one. I believe to do well at marketing does help the communities of the people that feed the products that are designed and serviced by those communities and those products that we sell. I think that we should all be passionate about serving our consumers, not just ourselves, and let's have some guts in doing it as we go forward. That's what I believe. I hope you believe it too. Thank you very much for this very, very kind honor.
Mark Hans, do you want this? Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President and CEO of the American Advertising Federation, Wally Snyder.
Thank you very much. And good afternoon, everyone. And what a terrific program. I'd like to give my personal thanks to this year's chair and co-chair, Wright Ferguson Jr. and John Osborne, and the Hall of Achievement Planning Committee, the Council of Judges, and very importantly, the event sponsors. We deeply appreciate your hard work over this past year and all the support you've given us. Let me give a personal thanks to John Osborne and BBDO for that great opening video. Thank you very much. Very importantly, congratulations to the newest members of AAF's Advertising Hall of Achievement. Please stand and be recognized one more time. We look forward to really following the next chapters in each of your stories. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you next year. Thanks for your support.